Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? You guys get up in here, man. Just chop it up, man. Kind of open. I guess we can have some open topics, man. But was thinking about Deontay Wilder and his comeback. Whether it's going to be against Tyson Fury in the third fight, which it don't seem like it's going to be likely. But I just had some questions, man, and I want to go back and forth with you guys so we can converse about it. Then I had some thoughts on Parker and Fa, and then I want to touch on Povetkin. I did a video earlier this morning, giving you guys an update on Povetkin. Fistiana up in here was good. Jay Petty, Lawrence Williams, James. Hey, is that Miss Boxing? Fistiana, I could have swore, I think it was on Blood's channel that he said that. St. Cruz, what's up, man? Dave Watson, what's going on? All right, so I'm gonna just kick it off, man. First, now I did a live yesterday talking about, what I heard from Wilder in his interview and Fury in his interview that he had. Wilder had an interview with Blue Blood Sports, and BOTB was on the panel, and Kurt Anderson was on the panel. Then I checked out Fury's interview that he did recently with what's the guy's name? Gareth McDavies or Gareth Davies or whatever. You know what I mean? But anyways, though, man, what I'm thinking about is when Wilder does come back, right? And Wilder did bring up some names of guys that he would like to fight if Fury doesn't take place next. And I was excited that he said Andrew Ruiz, because I think the style matchup is, classic style matchup of a big man versus a smaller guy, a shorter guy, right? But anyways, though, I'm curious to see how fighters approach Wilder after this loss. Now, you can think that, hey, he was cheated, Mr. Bell. Okay, that's fine. But fighters seen him get beat and stopped. So I want to see, how would a Michael Hunter approach him? How would an Andrew Ruiz approach him? Because it's going to be a little different. It's always a little different after you take that first L, especially if it's a knockout loss where you got knocked out cold, or it's a loss where, you got soundly beaten. Any type of defeat you've taken that was sound, the approach of your opponents, especially if their approach was, their approach was a lot different before you took a L, before they seen you take a L, not just only seeing you in trouble. Like, we've seen Wilder in trouble in the Luis Ortiz fight, the first fight, right? I'm talking about actually seeing you take a L professionally. Usually that comeback fight can be a little bit different. Usually, so I'm curious to see will fighters still have that same respect stylistically of Deontay Wilder when they get in there. Now, that right hand is something you just can't, I don't care what happened in the last fight with Fury, you still just can't discount that. You dig what I'm saying? You can't just go in there and just think the shit's not going to hurt you because you've seen him get beat by Fury. But I'm just stylistically, I'm curious to see how people are going to approach their fight with Wilder. They're going to try to get to him early, just say, you know what, hopefully I can get past the damn right hand, but I'm going to get on him from round one. From jump, I'm going to jump right in his chest. And I'm curious to see the approach of his next opponent, especially if it's a guy, that's a top 10 type of fighter that Wilder said that he would face. I actually was on Charles Martin. I always forget to mention Charles Martin, but I actually was on his Instagram this morning, checking out his training, and he was hitting the mitts with Robles, man, looking great, man. Robles got him throwing sharp and stiff combinations. You know what I mean? I like what I'm seeing from Charles Martin. I like what I've been seeing from him since he's came back. You know what I mean? So just keeping his mouth shut, man, and just he'll make call-outs when he have to, but just training and just, you know what I mean, just staying in the gym and keeping that weight down and working on his fundamentals, man. So again, he's a southpaw. He's a little, he could be crafty. I know, people just look at Charles Martin, they just think of the Anthony Joshua, and they kind of discount some of the things that he does do well. But he's pretty crafty, and he has heavy hands, man. And Wilder's human. He get hit on that chin, he could get knocked out too. You know what I'm saying? He's not the only person that's going to knock somebody out. So there's some good, intriguing matchups I think that can be made for Deontay Wilder that I would look forward to watching, man. You guys know me. I love the heavyweight division. I'm not just a fan of two or three heavyweights and everybody else is bums and all that type of shit. I love all these mixes and matches. So the Martin fight, then it would be two former world title holders. You know what I mean? We know that, Charles Martin just only held on for his strap for a couple days. But nonetheless, he is a former IBF title holder, right? And then Wilder, we know, was the WBC champ for 5 years. So, shit, former champion type of, two former champions going at it in that type of fight. Or, former champions going at it, Wilder versus Andy. We'll see what y'all saying.
That Tyson Fury's gonna take another fight, or do you think he's just gonna retire and get stripped of the title?
No, I think Fury's going to take another fight because he's in shape. He's been training his ass off. See, the last time he retired, that whole shit with Klitschko after their first fight when he was just ballooned and got out of shape, you can tell with Fury how his weight looks, or at least me. So if I see him getting fat and out of shape, then you got to sit back and scratch your chin. Well, not you, but me scratch my beard and be like, damn, man, he getting fat like this? Ain't he saying outlandish shit? Yeah, he might be trying to retire or do something. But if he's in shape and he's constantly training and training and training and training, I think Fury is being realistic about wanting to fight next, whether it's Wilder or not. So in this instance, I believe Tyson Fury is going to stay around fighting. But then in that interview with what's the guy's name, Gareth Davies, that's what I'm saying. Fury is so flip-flop up and down with his commentary, because then on one side of the interview he says, I don't care about legacy, I don't care about being undisputed, I don't care about fighting. He'll say some shit like that. I just care about being a family man. And then he's just flip-floppy, like a lot of fighters, man. They're just real flip-floppy with what they say. Let me see what you guys are talking about. I'm gonna get to Parker and Fa and Povetkin in a minute. See what you guys. Where you going, to Caribou? Hell no, because they always fuck up that.
This Caribou does.
Yeah, I don't want that. Let me see. Okay, so that is you, Fistiano. Okay, so what's up to Miss Boxing? Michael says, how do you manage to steer clear of the YouTube drama all these years you've been on for nobody? Well, one thing you got to realize, Michael, I grew up, and this has nothing to do with boxing or YouTube. I just grew up around uncles and mother, just people in my household and in my immediate square that taught me a good job of minding my own fucking business. I had excellent teachers that have taught me to mind your own business, man. If it's two brothers that you both, or two close friends that you like, whatever, stay the fuck out their business. So I've just been doing a good job over the last 10, 11 years here on YouTube of just staying out of people's business, and whatever discrepancies they have, let them take care of it, because really all it is just boxing talk. Unless it's some behind the scenes off YouTube shit, a lot is just boxing talk, y'all. Like, come on, man. I couldn't imagine back in the day getting into it because you think, because you think Riddick Bowe can beat Mike Tyson. Like, that's fucking ridiculous, man. But again, you're gonna chop it up and go at it, You
can disagree and, without being disrespectful.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I just mind my own business, man. It's not no special remedy. I just was always taught to mind my own business. James says, for some reason, I would like him to fight Miller. Yeah, they got some built-in
Thank you for stopping at
animosity there.
Yeah, 612.
Let me see here. Let me see. Give me 1 second, y'all.
All right.
All right, we back. Let me see. James says, okay. Like I said, what's up, Mr. Boxing? What's good, bro? St. Cruzan says the power's there, but the mystique is broken. Yeah, yes, it is, and that's why. And usually with the big power punches, and I know St. Cruzan, once these guys take that L, man, or somebody sees that they're soundly beaten, like a Sonny Liston, like a big George Foreman, like a Mike Tyson, like a Deontay Wilder. Usually their opponents, man, not to say nobody else is going to get knocked out, but I'm saying the approach is a little bit different, and that's just history. That's just how it goes down in history. It's always been like that. Every weight class. Go look at when the power puncher that's knocking everything out, that's putting everything to sleep. Watch when he gets beat for the first time, how his career changes. But we will see how this all play out with Deontay Wilder. James says, can't sleep on the right hand. No, you cannot sleep on the right hand unless you'll end up sleep. Punch quote was good, man. He says, Ruiz don't move his feet. I see a Brazil level knockout. But one thing about Ruiz that he does a lot better than Brazil is he gets his head off the line though. His feet may not move, but his waist is bending. His waist is bending. His head is moving. Stationary feet, but his head is moving. He does have a responsible defense up with his high guard, and he's used to that type of climate of catch and pitch. You dig what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying, bro, but Andy Ruiz is way more defensively responsible than a guy like Dominic Brazil.
And he's always used to being the shorter man in the ring.
Yeah, my wife wrote up a good point. And he's always used to being a shorter man, so he's gonna feel right at home. He's gonna feel right at home now. But there is that one punch that he's most susceptible to, and I keep repeating this because I have to, because I may have a new listener. The punch that I think Ruiz is most susceptible to is a straight right hand, and not because of this Wilder possibility fight. I was saying this going into the Parker fight and my post-fight prediction. I mean, yeah, my pre-fight prediction.
What Joshua caught him with?
Joshua with Parker?
No, Joshua with Ruiz when he set him down.
He hit him with a hook, an uppercut. I hit him with an uppercut hook, but when Ruiz got up from being knocked down, Joshua hit him with a vicious fucking right hand, and it was a right cross, but Ruiz ate that shit like M&M's. You gotta take that call.
No.
The expert genius, I appreciate that $5 holler. My brother, he says Fury don't want the rematch, been trying to figure out a way to get out of it. Mark Blake, salute, man. Let me go back up to the comments, see what y'all.
I don't necessarily agree that Fury did what he could to get out of it, because I believe it was Wilder's responsibility to sign the contract before the deadline.
You guys hear my wife? Well, I know you heard her, and that's a good point too. And it's kind of funny, man, because when people are saying, why ain't Wilder talking? Why ain't Wilder talking? I was under the impression like, well, shit, well, yeah, we do want to hear him talk. And then people saying like, why ain't he calling out Fury? And I was thinking to myself, now at this time, I'm like, well, shit.
He signed the contract.
If they have a rematch signed and the third fight is going to happen, why the fuck would he need to call him out? That's like Joseph Parker calling out Junior Fa right now. Like, we know y'all about the fight. Like, what do you need to call him out for? But in this case, I mean, Fury does have a point though, man. You can't let a whole contract expire and be like, hey, I thought we were fighting. You know, so I do think, you know, it is Wilder and his team's responsibility, man, to communicate that, because he had no problems communicating anything else prior to this loss. Shit, going into the first Fury fight, we were hearing from him. Going into the Brazil fight, the Stavern fight, all these other fights that we were hearing from him. And I'm thinking that he was having a hard time dealing with his loss. The man is human, y'all. You know what I mean? I like Wilder too, man, but shit, he has to deal with trials and tribulations and losses just like the next man. You know what I'm saying? And nobody likes to lose, man, especially in boxing. When you get stopped, and you get stopped in a dramatic fashion, he's trying to wrap his head around that, man. That doesn't mean that he's depressed and he didn't, you know, gain a whole bunch of weight and all that shit. Go ahead, man. You know what I'm saying? But you're still trying to get over that first initial loss, man. People sometimes take out the human element of this shit and think these guys are robots and shit, man.
What U.S. battleship remained in commission after...
1093? Do you want to guess it all first?
What U.S. battleship remained in commission after being
sunk?
sunk? I'm going to go with Missouri.
I'm going to go with B.
It is B.
God damn, you always beat me in this shit, man. It was the Arizona. Oh, my wife always beat me at
One more time.
trivia.
Oh, okay, no, sorry.
What's good, God of War?
It's a gift card. Does that matter?
Let me see. Yes, punch quote. Joshua was landing rights on Ruiz at will. He was, especially when he got up after that night and landed a big one.
Yep, you too.
Ruiz got the best chance to beat Wilder out of everyone, like I said. Just Case says, salute Mr. Boxer. We might see fighters come at Wilder like people did Tyson after the Tony Tucker fight. That's a good point. And not be as scared or as nervous. And not to say that people were getting just knocked out of one round with Wilder and Fury found out some type of remedy, because we seen Wilder, well, in my eyes, I thought that Wilder was losing the Spilka fight until he gave him that night court treatment. I thought Fury won 7 of the rounds in the first fight and all the rounds in the second fight. I thought Luis Ortiz was up on the scorecards. At least on that second one, I thought he was before he got knocked out, and he was winning a lot of rounds in that first fight. So it's not like we haven't seen a dude like lose rounds in fights, but I think people are going to pick up the physicality on him, man, and test him. and test his legs and just test him.
Can you give me the real time?
It's 10:50. You gotta go to the office.
No, I'm meeting at 11. I need to do it at home.
Real quick before I get back to you guys' comments. The thing about Fi and Parker, I just want to chop. Well, first about Povetkin, he's out of the hospital, so it's good to see that he's back, man. This COVID thing, you know, some people think this shit is fake news, don't think it's real and all that, but you know, his promoter came out, Binsky, and said that you know, right now he just want to recover and make a full recovery, and he also said that Povetkin will be back training in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm not sure if Povetkin wants more than an 8-week camp, then that targeted date of January 30th ain't gonna work. You know, so I guess we'll see what Povetkin does, but he shouldn't be really in the rush like that shit. His last fight, he put somebody to sleep.
What's the standard fight camp? What's the time frame?
It depends what type of fighter you are.
8 to 12 weeks?
Yeah, like 8 to 12 weeks. But to me, I'm a big believer in stay ready so you got to get ready. This is what you do. You know what I mean? What you mean? You got to get ready. Like, you supposed to already be in shape. How my intro grow with Shannon Briggs, my intro? Look at me, already ready. Let's go, Chan. You supposed to be already ready. So especially when fighters be saying that shit, I have to get, you know, I wasn't in shape. Fuck you mean you wasn't in shape? All right, y'all, I got kind of sidetracked. Yeah, you supposed to be in shape, man. You can't be getting ready to get in shape. All right, anyways, so yeah, Povetkin, little update on him. And then with Fi and Parker, man, I'm just looking at a lot of Parker training clips. Shout out to Glad Rap, a New Zealand channel cover boxing out there. Shouts out to him. But I was looking at a lot of Parker. He's looking quick and sharp, man. I'm just curious to see what type of weight he comes in at, because Parker has a tendency sometimes he'll come in at 235, then he'll come in at 245. He always in between that. And I always think he looks sharper and quicker at 235. At 240, if he comes in 245, I expect him to have like a bulldog type of mentality and try to get up on Fi and pressure him, man. Put Fi on his back foot. Fi's 19-0. They fought 4 times in the amateurs, went 2-2. But this ain't the amateurs. You dig what I'm saying? Fi's last couple fights against Vargas and against he fought Devin Vargas, and he fought I forgot the other guy he fought, but he went the full distance with both. You know what I mean? So he's got some rounds under him, man. But I'm just curious to see the approach of these guys going into this fight. You know, I think Parker, his best bet is to come forward. Don't fight Fi at range, because Fi does have the ability to move around a little bit. And Parker has some good footwork as well. You know what I mean? He's pretty nimble on his feet as well. But I think he should come forward and be the aggressor, man. I always like an aggressive Joseph Parker. You know, and I know in some of his fights like Ruiz and Takum, and even in the Asian fight to some degree, and in the White to some degree, he will move. It's like when he respects your power game, he'll move a little bit, which is smart. You know what I mean? But if he don't respect you, then that's when you get the bulldog of Joseph Parker. But I mean, I think he should respect Fi to the point that you have another grown man over 200-some pounds that can knock you out. But I think he should be getting in Fi's chest, man. And I think Fi should try to turn Parker a little bit. And when he get on the inside, if he can't handle an inside fight, because we know Parker got quick hands, put Parker in the headlock, grab him, put your weight on him, lean against the ropes, implement some of the stuff that Dillian White was doing. You dig what I'm saying? Because I don't think he's going to respect Fi as much as he respected Anthony Joshua in the ring, or Ruiz. I really don't. I think he respects him as a man and as a fellow New Zealander and all that, but I don't really think he's going to respect him like that in the ring on fight night. And I think he will be trying to walk him down, because the mitt work I seen him working on with Kevin Berry, they were doubling up jabs and then stepping in with a hard jab, and then right when he got close, he was letting combinations go. Now, it could have just been some harmless mitt work, but usually guys, when they work mitt work, unless they're just warming up to get their arms loose, and this looked like some focus training. It didn't look like get your arm loose mitt work. It looked like focus training that they were doing. And I think this is probably something he's going to try to implement, and that's walk Fi down with double jabs, triple jabs, and stepping in with hard single jabs and try to get in his chest. I can't wait for that one to happen, man. Let me see. James says, I tell you what though, if Wilder implements combos and head movement in his arsenal, he will be even more dangerous. Yeah, I agree, man. He usually does a decent job of keeping his head offline when he's in control of the pace of the fight. But when he's getting backed up, he does kind of get stiff and kind of stand straight up a little bit. But when he's in control of the fight, then you'll see him bend at the waist and stick his jab out there and things like that. But when I see Wilder getting pressed in some of his fights backwards, excluding the first Stavern fight, because he handled him beautifully off the back foot in that fight. But in some of his other fights, like Duhaupas and Tyson Fury's second fight, and Ruiz, or not Ruiz, but Ortiz, uh, Wilder didn't look as good going backwards as he did in the first Stavern fight. And man, it's just boxing, man. A good jab will always keep somebody off balance as well. Chris Tien says, I've liked Charles Martin's comeback run after the AJ loss. He looks better after every fight. Yeah, man, the Gregory Corbin fight, the Gerald Washington fight. I think he fought Mike Maroney as well. Did he fight Mike Maroney? He had a few little fights like that. And then even in defeat against Kownacki, I thought he turned it up too late against Kownacki. I had Kownacki winning 6-4. Martin could have easily won that fight. Easily. But Kownacki put that pressure on you, man. I just think he kind of jumped on Martin, and it took Martin a few rounds, man, to get adjusted, and for Kownacki's work rate to go down, or wait for him to get a little bit tired and sloppy. But I know Martin looked at that Helenius fight and was like, damn, I had a missed opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Trap House was good. Yeah, he does. Zhilei Zhang is possibility for him. Shit, Eddie Hearn was talking about pairing AJ with Zhilei Zhang in 2016, bro. I remember doing a video on that. This was shortly after, speaking of Charles Martin, it was shortly after AJ beat Charles Martin. And I put up a video of Eddie Hearn talking about AJ taking on his old, Olympic foe in Zhang in China. They were talking about probably trying to put the fight in China, but that was 4 years ago. But hey, Zhang is with Matchroom now, so shit, he's right under the banner, so it wouldn't surprise me. But I think Hearn is probably going to steer Zhang in the direction of Chisora, and I did a video on that because when I was watching the DAZN card last weekend, Sergio Moore and Chris Mannix were on the telecast talking, and Moore is saying that a discussion he had with Hearn a few days prior to the fights last Saturday, and Hearn was talking about putting Zhang in there with a top 15, and he brought up Derek Chisora, which would be a really good fight, man, because the one knockdown that Zhang has suffered in his pro career was against Juan Good, and it was a looping, wild overhand right that put him on his ass, put him on his back pocket. You know what I mean? And what does Chisora like throwing? Wild looping shots. And he's going to come forward, and stylistically, entertainment value is going to be good for us, the fans.
I gotta run in here and get my computer turned on.
All right.
Are you gonna stay out here and finish your video?
Yep.
I'll just leave the keys in here then, okay?
All right. Hey, good morning, Pops. I see my dad up in here.
Good morning.
He says, good time for Wilder to fight Joshua. See, Dad, the thing about that, though, is, yeah, it is a good time. And I would love to see that we didn't get this opportunities. But right now, Dad, AJ is getting ready to fight Pulev next month. As if Fury and AJ is going to be on a collision course. I'm not mad with it. I've been on here lobbying and advocating for Undisputed since I've been making videos on YouTube 10 years. And we haven't had an undisputed heavyweight champion since 1999, since November of 99. We're going on, 21 years without a damn undisputed champion. I think Holyfield and Lennox had that rematch in November of 99, I believe. I could be wrong. But it's time for undisputed. And I know, with today's boxing, it's making it harder with, more sanctioning bodies being added to the fray as a major title, like the WBO was added to the fray in 2007. Is one of the 4 titles you need to be undisputed. So yeah, Dad, it is a good time for them to fight, but I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, though. But yeah, I would love to see that fight. BG London says, do you think Josh? All right, we back again. Yeah, I think AJ went in there and said, you know what, man, I know how I usually fight, but I need to pick up this victory. I need to prove to myself that I can beat this man. And this man embarrassed me, humiliated me in front of all these Americans in Madison Square Garden, and he came back and redeemed himself. It's the shutout. It wasn't the fight that I would, that I thought I was going to see,
or that anybody wanted to see.
Or that anybody wanted to see, like my wife said. But shit, he did what he had to do, man. Sometimes it takes that in boxing. Sometimes hey, a lot of times we say listen to the fans, but sometimes you shouldn't listen to the fans. Listening to us to get your ass knocked out. And I think AJ and his team was smart enough to say, hey man, you can't go in there and try to bully us. Just the dimensions are wrong. He has faster hands than you on the inside. Although AJ, one thing we always credited him for is being a big man that can throw fluid combinations mid range. And that's great. And that'll work probably against 99% of everybody you fight, except for a guy like Andy Ruiz, who has all the intangibles to stand up to punches. He's quicker than you on the inside. He can beat you to the punch, and he's more equipped at fighting like that because he's fought like that all his life. Andy Ruiz was never a, okay, circle and use the jab, son. He never fought like that. AJ likes to rumble, but he has the ability to move around and use a jab. But I don't think that's really AJ, bro. I don't think that's really how he really wants to fight. And I'm curious to see his approach going into this Pulev fight. And I think we're going to see the AJ we seen prior to the second Ruiz fight. Things gonna go back to the old school AJ, and that's come forward with the high guard, slightly move his head, and tries to throw, jab, right hand, left hook, uppercut, 3-4 punch combinations. I think we're going to see that. But he better be careful, man, because Pulev has a very good jab, and it's not just a jab to keep you off. It's not just the jab to probe. It's a hard, thudding jab that he steps in with, and he uses it as a power punch. So it's going to be interesting to see, man, what Joshua's approach will be to try to get in on Pulev. Because if he tries that jabbing contest shit, he may lose that one, man. Because Klitschko tried to have a jabbing contest with Pulev, and to me, that's what made Klitschko say to Dan with his jabbing, I'm gonna just start leading with power shots, and he would start leading with left hooks and leading with straight right hands. It's almost like Klitschko just said, fuck it, you can, if not out jab me, you can jab with me, and I don't feel like doing this. And he actually stunned Klitschko with a jab, I believe in the first round, or the first or second round. And then Klitschko changed the game plan up. D-Ray says, salute to you, champ, in the chat. I appreciate that, man. Trap House says, it's really not AJ because he's not comfortable being an outboxer. I think he used that strategy for a confidence booster. Yeah, and for a way not to get knocked the hell out. Or, just to get Ruiz up on him and touching his chin. But yeah, I think it was just, he just used that style for that fight. But I don't, like you said, I don't think he's really comfortable. And there was times in the fight where you can tell he wasn't comfortable. He wasn't fully comfortable because when they got to break you, like ring over shots to hit him on the side of the head. These, they little chipping shots, they might not seem like much. A guy on the inside like that by just hitting him with those clubbing shots while you're in. And AJ's one of those guys where I think you can get to him like that. Because Ruiz was doing some of that in the first fight. So in that second fight, Ruiz wasn't doing much of it, and AJ did a great job of wrapping Ruiz's arms up on the inside, man. It will almost look like the way Holyfield was holding Mike Tyson's left arm when they would clinch, so Tyson would get that left hook off. But curious to see if Pulev will use those type of rough house tactics against AJ to get him out of his, to get him off his square. And I thought Parker could have used those same tactics had the Bulldog and Parker came out, but it didn't. Scrapbook was good, man. Y'all go subscribe to my man Scrapbook Boxing, historian here on YouTube. Go subscribe to Trap House Boxing and go subscribe to my man Stormy B, man. Did I miss anybody else who has the channel? I don't think so. The Expert Genius. Stormy B, man, says the jab has to be educated. A tool displayed offensively, defensively, probing, stabbing, stopping, and deflecting. Yeah, different variations of it. But, Pulev's best variation of his is that thudding hard, using it as a power punch. But I definitely think you need different variations of your jab. Because if not, you'll just have a rhythm. And what do boxers do? Elite boxers do? They pick up on your rhythms. So if you just have thudding jab, thudding, okay, I'm going to work around that. I'm going to slip to this side. I'm going to pivot this way. When he throws it, he keeps it out there too long. I'm going to counter him with this shot. If you just have a probing jab, okay, I'm going to just walk right through that shit. You dig what I'm saying? I've seen guys walk through probing jabs. Or they won't even count the probing jab because they're looking at what you're holding behind the jab, whether it's a straight right hand, if you're orthodox, or if you're southpaw, that straight left hand. Or maybe it's an uppercut you're trying to set up. So yeah, different variations of your jab, man. Different speed, different levels, and then using the jab, not only head hunting, but throwing it to the throat area or to the chest or to the midsection. Trap House says he got Zhang knocking out Chisora. I think his uppercut's gonna be deadly on Chisora. I can see Zhang taking, steps back, half step back, using his jab, and let Chisora just walk himself into uppercuts. And then when Chisora tries to stays out there and try to move his head from a long range, then just line him up with straight left hands. I see Zhang winning that. And Zhang's a big physical motherfucker, man. He's big as hell, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be curious to see, can Chisora roughhouse him and move him around. I'm not sure. Trap House says even in times in a Povetkin fight, he was uncomfortable. Yeah, at mid-range, he was on until he softened Povetkin up. AJ looked uncomfortable mid-range with Povetkin early in that fight. I agree with that. Renee Saucedo says he's taking Pulev in an upset. Levi Khan says, damn, I'm hurt. Wilder went out like this, bro. Damn it. He has the opportunity to redeem himself, man. So we'll see how it all ends out for Deontay, man. BG London says, what's your opinion on Frank Sanchez being more aggressive? I like it. I always like to watch an aggressive heavyweight. Now, will he stay aggressive like that when he steps up in opposition? We will see. Because being aggressive like that, and being overly aggressive sometimes, you can walk yourself into a knockout. And different fighter, but Martin Bakole, who's getting ready to fight Sergey Kuzmin, he has that issue too, where sometimes almost too aggressive. Where I think sometimes he needs to set some of his shots up. Sometimes come out there, he just goes rock 'em, sock 'em, man. And it's disheartening to see a 6'6" guy with a long reach go rock 'em, sock 'em when he could. Because you guys know I love the jab, man. I think the jab can take you around the world, man. Like a good solid jab, especially at heavyweight. So when you see guys just give up their jab, especially guys that have long reaches, give up their jab to go to war, it's hard. You know what I mean? It's fun for us to watch, but stylistically, it's like, damn, man. Must be eating your trainer up inside, just going crazy like that without using your reach. All right, man, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead. I'm gonna get out y'all hair, man. Let y'all go ahead and enjoy y'all morning. Where's morning here where I'm at. But I'll be back, man. Anything crazy pops off, I'll go live. But trying to drop a few more videos today, man. But until next time, y'all be easy. I'm gone.